did you get involved with HBCU Week?
Man, I'm a Winston-Salem native, so obviously you see when Stephen A. talks about Winston-Salem State, that's near and dear to my heart. And everyone in my family went to HBCUs except for me. So if you grow up in the South, you're gonna just have that culture and DNA in you. So DNA in you. So for me, it's just been about try to give a voice sometimes to the voiceless. Everyone doesn't always know about HBCUs and why they were created, and I just try to bring attention to them. I'm
See,
actually. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
no, I was just going to ask you. Thank you. Always great to see you, my man. I just want to ask. I know why it's important to you because, like you said, so many of your family members went to HBCUs. But what do they tell you about the experience and what they got from attending an HBCU?
It's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. And for me, especially when I was in high school and my brother was at Hampton, I used to go down and just try to get the experience. And we used to go to Winston-Salem State homecoming, and even though I was at Wake Forest, Winston-Salem State was down the street, so I was always over there, and it's nothing like it. The competition is amazing, just the culture, and I think the more awareness people get to it, because a lot of times people try to look at HBCUs like they're inferior, and that's not the case. And I think that's why it's been so dope to see how many people are stepping up, and you getting a chance to see, what really makes HBCUs great.
One of the things that folks have been talking about is Makar Maker. He decided to go to Howard University, and he's obviously a prep star. And a lot of people feel like that could potentially be a trend, or at least they're hopeful that that's a trend that will take place, that you'll see more of these star prep players attending HBCUs. Do you think that can happen, A, and B, do you think it's important that that happen?
I absolutely think it can happen because, one of the biggest things you see now is the players, they have the power. Wherever the top players are, you got ESPN, all the networks are going to go there. So, and it's not just in sports. I got a friend of mine, Cortez Bryant, who just went to Jackson State. He went to school there, but he's doing a music program there. If you see Prime, shout out to Coach Prime, just took the head coaching job there. So I think it's something that's great to see, and it's going to continue to happen.
Chris,
and it's time.
January, I'd like to talk about you and your team for a second, if you don't mind. January was like a lifetime ago, right? Before the pandemic and all this. You told Sports Illustrated at that point that you didn't have any plans to opt out of the last year $44 million of your contract to seek a trade or anything like that. You guys were excellent, couldn't quite get over the hump, but that was a real good, especially starting five unit that you led. Where are you with that today?
As far as what?
As far as staying put or wanting to leave?
Oh, now, I don't control that. But first and foremost, shout out to Coach Billy Donovan that got the head coaching job in Chicago. I actually just talked to him a couple of days ago. And Sam Presti has been amazing. This year in Oklahoma was amazing. Obviously, we'll see what happens this summer or whatnot. It's nice to be here and be close to my family. I think for me, I'm going to let everything play out, see what happens. But, I'm in a good place. I wish we would have kept advancing in the playoffs, but, I don't have no plans of opting out no time soon either.
CP3, I want to go back to the court for a different reason.
What's $44 million?
Yeah, I hear you. I wouldn't opt out either. No question. Let me go back to the bubble for a different reason. I can't say enough about the job that the NBA as a whole has done with bubble play. Remember, if you lost, you go home. And everybody there was scratching and clawing and giving it all they had. It wasn't positive tests that were coming out there. For the most part, people honored or the stipulations that came along with it. I think that players showed themselves to be true professionals and true role models. And you're the president of the Players Association. I want you to first speak to what that was like for you. And secondly, in light of, obviously, Breonna Taylor, the ruling that came down just the other day with everybody talking about that, what kind of emotions do you have that you'd like to reflect upon in light of all of that?
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It's been somewhat of a blur. Obviously, with the pandemic and everything being shut down, us players, we talked about should we play? If we do play, how are we going to let our voices be heard? We talked with the WNBA and those women. They are so powerful, and the things that they continue to shed a light on But it was tough. And for the guys that's still in the bubble, they've done an amazing job of staying focused, obviously, on the game. But when you're in there, you're just always trying to figure out what you can do. You know, all of us guys are sort of in situations where we sort of been protectors or caregivers for our family, right? So we just want to be able to help. And like I say all the time, people see the games and they see the shots and all this different type stuff, but we're humans. You know, we're fathers, we're brothers, we're husbands, any of these different things. So it's tough. And then when you see the verdict on Breonna Taylor, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I mean, I'm the father of an 8-year-old daughter, you know, and to see the way that women, especially Black women, are treated at times is not okay. And for those guys to be there and people to wonder, should they just play and not speak on these different issues? There's no way. There's no way. So
Well,
I just want to commend all the guys in the league, I'm sorry, and the women for what they're doing.
thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.